What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. Naruto-kun, are you up here? We brought you some food since the caretaker didn't serve you any at dinner, said a 7-year-old girl with brown hair tied up into 2 buns along with matching chocolate eyes as she walked up the steps to the attic, followed by a girl with a bowl haircut and big anime-style eyes that many if not all would consider cute. Lei-chan. Ten-chan, is that you? A soft voice called out to them and the girl with the bowl haircut rushed toward the source of the voice. When she reached a small shadow she picked up whatever it was and walked back to girl in the buns. When she finally got back to the girl, the light revealed a small boy about a year younger than them. He had spiky blonde hair, whisker-like birthmarks on both cheeks. He wore brown shorts, brown sandals, and an oversized shirt that hung off his small malnourished frame. The boy's name was Naruto Uzumaki, son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minako Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, and container of the 9-tailed fox. On a side note, he was responsible for capturing the hearts of many girls. Naruto-kun, are you hungry? Asked the bowl haircut girl. Yes, Lei-chan, answered Naruto. The girl now identified as Lei looked to the girl with the buns. Tenten-chan, could you pass me the food? Tenten nodded and passed various bowls containing meat, rice, and some ramen. Just for Naruto. Why am I not surprised? They both started feeding Naruto, who was currently nestled in between Lei's legs, as he thanked them over and over. It's getting late, we better get back to our rooms before we get caught. Tenten-chan is correct, we should go. Naruto nodded in agreement, sad that they were leaving but didn't want them to get in trouble. Tenten and Lei both blushed before planting a kiss on Naruto's cheeks and ran off to their room. Needless to say, they both had smile on their faces while they slept. The next day both Tenten and Lei were both adopted, and after a tearful goodbye with Naruto, who only smiled and told them he was happy for them, they both left with new families. Naruto only stood there staring after them, not knowing that when he saw them again they would be more than friends along with many others. Time skipped 2 years. A now 8-year-old Naruto walked to his favorite ramen shop, wearing a light blue t-shirt with a Uzumaki swirl, cargo shorts, light brown sandals. He no longer lived in the orphanage and had been living on his own for 1 year now, the caretaker saying that they didn't have enough room, so the Hokage gave him his own apartment. He thought about the conversation he had with his surrogate grandmother Hiriko Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage. Flashback. Hiriko sat in her chair working on every Kage's bane, paperwork. She prayed to Kami herself to send something to give her a break from the dreaded paperwork. Just then the secretary's head poked in through the door. Hokage-sama? There's someone to see you. Hiriko flicked her eyes up and mouthed a quick, thank you, before speaking. Who is it? It's Naruto-kun. Hiriko smiled at the thought of seeing her surrogate grandson, and at the blush appearing on her secretary's face when she said, Naruto-kun, very well, send him in. Right away, Hokage-sama. Moments later Naruto walked into the room. Hey, Oba-chan. How are you? I'm fine, Naruto-kun. What did you want to see me for? Well, I was wondering if you could get me into the ninja academy. At this, Hiriko started choking on the smoke from her pipe. When she finally regained composure, Naruto spoke. So, is that a yes? She looked at him and gave him a sad smile. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, but only girls can go to the academy. How come? Because only women can mold chakra to preform jutsus, and boys can't mold their chakra and have so very little chakra that even an E-rank jutsu would completely drain them of their energy or even kill them. I'm sorry, but I simply cannot let you enter. I hope you understand why. Naruto said, quiet for a while, then he said in a soft voice, but if I don't join, how am I gonna protect my loved ones? Don't worry, Naruto-kun, I'm sure you'll find a way, you always do. End flashback. Man, now how am I gonna protect Ten-chan or Lei-chan or even Ayame-chan, and what about Hinata-chan? Naruto thought out loud. He screamed out when a hand grabbed him by the collar and yanked him into an alley. Before Naruto could comprehend what was happening, a blow to the back of the head made his world turn black. 2 hours later, at the entrance to the Forest of Death, a kunoichi heaved a bag onto the ground in front of a group of men with knives and pistols. Here's the brat you wanted. Now can I get my payment? One man who looked to be the leader opened the bag before smiling and tossing out Naruto. Well, a deal's a deal. Here you go. He threw her a wad of cash and the kunoichi only smiled before walking away counting the money. Naruto started coming back around only to see a man's face full of hate staring at him. "Hello, demon brat," he shouted before kicking Naruto in the gut, causing the group of men to cheer. "Wheeze what do you want from me? I want to see you suffer like you made me suffer when you took my family from me. What are you saying? I never did anything to you. Shut up," the man shouted before kicking him in the gut again and sitting him up. "Wheeze please stop," Naruto begged. "I said, shut up," the man slapped Naruto, giving him a bright red hand mark on his cheek. "This is what's going to happen. You're going to run through the forest and try to survive as long as you can. We'll give you a 5-second head start, and if the forest doesn't kill you, we will." He threw Naruto towards the forest, but Naruto only stood there. "Didn't you fucking hear me? I said run. Run, forest, run." With that, Naruto took off into the forest. "Hey, go get him, boys," he shouted before the men ran into the forest to kill Naruto. The man started towards the entrance before he heard a asterisk thump behind him. He turned around to see the battered remains of the kunoichi he hired in front of a very pissed off Hokage and equally pissed of Anbu. Before he could react, the man was tied up and facing the wrathful Hokage. "I will only ask this once. Where is Naruto? Heh. The boys are playing a game with him in there," he said, motioning to the forest. A crack was heard when Hiriko's fist broke the mont's jaw. "Get him to T&I and have Ibuki and Anko personally work him over. Get every bit of information out of him before he is executed." Dog. A Anbu wearing a dog mask and had gravity-defying gray hair stepped forward. "Yes, Hokage-sama? Get your summons to track down Naruto-kun, and if any of you see one of these men, lethal force is mandatory. Now go." "Yes, Hokage-sama, Naruto-kun, please be safe." With Naruto ran through the forest, pushing leaves out of his way, jumping over gaps, and dodging bullets. "He's over there." Naruto kept running as fast as he could before he came to a dead end. Looking up, he spotted some vines he could climb. "I see him, over there. Oh, come on, climb," he shouted at himself to go faster. He went through a hole through a rock thinking he got away. He looked up to see two men with knives both preparing to jump down, but one jumped down while the other was killed by a Anbu wearing a Neko mask. The one that jumped down tried to stab him. "Hey guys, I got him, he's over here." As soon as he finished, Naruto ripped a knife away and in the heat of the moment drove it into the man's skull. "Oh. KK Kami," Naruto said as he couldn't believe what he had done. He had taken a life. Naruto soon ran both in fear and in horror from what he had done. He got to a rickety rope bridge suspended over a roaring river. Naruto ran across it hoping to get away from the men. He, however, didn't see the two men start hacking away at the rope. By the time he noticed, it was too late. The Anbu could only watch and scream out, "Naruto," as he fell into the water, smashing against rocks, breaking several bones before he was knocked unconscious by smashing into a rock head-on. His limp body fell over the waterfall and disappearing beneath the churning water. With Hiriko paced back and forth in front of the clan heads who had shown up to see what was wrong. "Hokage-sama, do you think Naruto-kun will be okay?" The clan heads having been informed by a distraught Hokage. "I hope so, Makito-chan, I really do." Soon the Anbu arrived. Hiriko looked desperately for the boy but could not find him. Where is Naruto-kun?" she asked, afraid of the answer she would receive. The Anbu with a dog mask stepped up holding a tattered piece of a light blue shirt with the Uzumaki swirl on it. "This is all we could recover, Hokage-sama," her voice cracking slightly. Hiriko only held the cloth with trembling hands before she, along with the clan heads and Anbu, broke down crying. Further down river, Naruto's battered and bloody washed up on shore near some woods. His body began to twitch before his arms slowly moved to push himself up. He looked around to survey his surroundings before he, with a huge amount of effort, pushed himself up and staggered into the woods. "I gotta get somewhere safe," said Naruto. At that moment he spotted some smoke in the distance. "Yes. Where there's smoke there's bound people, hopefully someone can help me." 2 hours later, by the time Naruto finally reached the site of the smoke, he was completely drained of his remaining energy. Hello? Is anybody here? Looking around, he saw the source of the smoke was from a campfire, and upon further investigation he saw 5 small tents big enough for only one person each. The tents were all colored differently, one was black on one side and white on the other. One was red with pictures of puppets on it. One was black and had what looked like pictures of masks on it. Another was black as well, only it had pictures of a triple-bladed scythe on it with a real triple-bladed scythe propped up at the entrance. The last one was yellow with pictures of explosives on it. He saw some clothes hung out to dry which consisted of some bras and panties, which confirmed that the occupants of the camp were all women, and some black robes with red clouds on them. Looking around some more, Naruto caught the sight and smell of food and water. He quickly ate some of the meat that was cooking over the fire on a spit and drank his fill of water from a canteen. Having replenished some of his lost energy, he decided to get some rest. He grabbed a blanket out of one of the tents and laid down near the fire. Half an hour later, 5 figures dressed in swimsuits were walking back to their campsite talking amongst themselves. As they got closer, they saw Naruto wrapped up in a blanket near the fire. A woman with slicked back silver hair picked him up and said, "Can we keep him?" Approaching the target location, said a man as he made his way towards a hole in a fence leading into a bandit camp. He wore a blood-red shirt, black pants, a pair of steel-toed boots, and a pair of leather gloves, but the intimidating part of his attire was the red fox mask that had its mouth placed into a permanent grin showing its row of sharp teeth, and the eyes were completely black except for the white pinprick-sized pupils. His visible weapons was an M4 carbine rifle, dual pistol strapped to his legs, and a combat knife in sheath on his left shoulder. "Everyone confirm your positions," he said into headset. "Sniper in position ready to provide cover fire. Heavy weapon has found a bulldozer and I'm sure as fuck gonna use it. Sweepers positioned at main gate ready, mow him down," came the responses. "Alright, leader is in the back, be ready to attack on my signal," he said as he crouched behind a oblivious bandit cleaning his weapon. The man now known as leader holstered his rifle on his back before reaching towards his shoulder, sliding out his combat knife from its sheath, holding it in a reverse grip. He then reached up and planted his gloved hand on the bandit's mouth, keeping his shout muffled before he pulled him towards himself and plunged his knife into the bandit's heart, causing some blood to spray out like a fountain. The bandit's struggles to get free became weaker and weaker by the second as he felt his blood squirting out of his body and his vision become darker until the icy embrace of death reached him. When he finally felt the bandit's body become completely limp, the man removed his knife and let the bandit's body drop with a dull thud. He made his way towards a crumbling building in the center of the camp, only saying one word into the headset, "Now." With that, the fun started as he heard the sound of an engine come from his right, followed by a shout, "Come over the channel. Here I come, assholes," as a bulldozer punched a hole into the fence and crushed some bandits while the driver was protected from some bullets that were fired by the survivors and their friends. "Who the fuck are these guys?" yelled a bandit as he fired his pistol at the driver, who had exited the bulldozer and was now taking cover behind the wheels. Leader then fired his gun at some bandits at the entrance of the building and shouted into his headset, "I got to the entrance, keep these guys busy." "Got it, boss." Leader then used his foot to break down the door and ran into the building, pointing his gun at the unarmed bandits. "Everyone on the fucking ground now. Make one false move and you'll get bullet to the head," he yelled, forcing the bandits on the ground. "Now which one of you fucks is the leader?" The bandits, wanting to save their own skin, easily gave up their leader, pointing at the bandit at the center of them who had a face adorned with piercings. Leader then holstered his gun and pulled a pistol from his left leg and picked up the leader by the back of his neck and made him face himself. Needless to say, the leader had to keep from pissing himself as the white pupils bore into him. "PP please D, don't hurt me," whimpered the man. "What's your name?" asked leader. "KK Casso." "Well, Casso, you're gonna tell me where are those girls you kidnapped from a nearby village, and don't stall cuz I got a really itchy trigger finger," he said as he put his gun under Casso's chin, smirking as he felt him shiver. "As a matter of fact, I think I got an itch coming on." "Oh okay, I'll show W where they are." "Good, and since these guys are useless, I should probably do what I was called here to do." He then hit Casso with the butt of the gun, dazing him, and dropped to the floor. He pointed his gun at the others who were on the floor, pleading for him to not shoot. It didn't stop him, however, as he shoot them all through the head and picking Casso back up. "Remember, you fuck around and you won't get a quick death like them. I'll make sure you suffer, got it?" he said in a menacing tone, getting a nod from his captive. "Good. Now move." He pushed Casso, getting him to move. After a couple of minutes, leader was led to a slightly opened door. "I in here," said Casso as he pushed the door open and walked in, with leader following close by with a gun trained on him. Looking around, Leader could see multiple cages, most of them empty, but some had girls in them. The ages were the youngest being 6 and the oldest being 11. This information caused Leader to shake with rage. Please help," came the weak cry from the younger ones. Hearing that, Leader pointed his gun at Casso, who looked at him fearfully. "See, come on man, don't do it," he pleaded. Leader only lowered his gun before shooting him in the legs. "Ah!" screamed Casso as he felt pain course through his body as his legs gave out and the pain proved too much for him as he passed out. "Guys, you okay?" Leader asked into his headset. "We're okay, Leader. All threats have been neutralized. Did you find the girls?" "Yeah, bring the cars around and someone get down here to help out. Heavy weapon is en route." Leader then used his rifle to break the locks of the cages, opening them up as the girls who were healthier ran out or helped the weaker ones out of their cages before running up to hug their savior. 30 minutes later, as the group arrived to location of the small village, they were greeted by the sight of an all-out battle between some kunoichi on a bridge that was under construction. However, the kunoichi were then hidden from sight by a thick mist. Leader, who was driving the van, stopped and he got out. "Leader, what are you doing?" said one of his crew. "Don't worry. You guys just get the kids back to their families and get back home. Mia will transfer the payment to you when she can." "Okay, but are coming back?" "No, I'll be gone for a little bit. Tell Mia to follow standard protocol." "Alright, but what do we tell Kuremi? You know she would hunt you down if, no, when she finds out you didn't come back with us." "Let me worry about her, just go." "Okay. Stay safe, Leader." The group soon left him alone at the edge of the bridge. "Well, looks like it's time to help out some old friends." He then entered the mist. Bridge. Leader stood at the edge of the fight, observing the kunoichi taking in their appearances. There were 12 in total. The one closest to him was guarding a bearded man. She had short bubblegum pink hair held by her Konoha headband and emerald green eyes that a good amount of fear in them. She wore a red tight shirt and black shorts along with some gloves. Sakura-chan grew up pretty well, Leader thought before he turned to a fight that looked more than a little one-sided, since it was 4-1 with majority sporting leaf headbands. The one to his far left had long raven hair. She wore a blue jacket with the Uchiha fan symbol on the side along with a pair of white shorts. Her eyes, however, were red with a single ring around the pupil. "So Satsuki-chan has activated her Sharingan, huh?" To the right of her was a girl with pale lavender eyes with no pupil but veins protruding at the sides and indigo hair. She wore a lavender jacket and black pants. Hinata-chan seems to have gone from being cute to being cute and beautiful. Somewhere in Fire Country, a beautiful redhead with blood-red eyes walked around the village that her husband had created. She liked to think he was her husband and no one was dumb enough to tell her otherwise, greeting everyone she met before a feeling overwhelmed her. What was that? For a second I felt like my husband complimented another woman. But that's impossible after all. Why would he? He has me as a wife. She looked toward the entrance of the village and saw the van her husband left and enter. "Oh good, he's back now. After he gets rested I'll try to convince him we need to start working on our family, and if says no, then I'll just have to tie him up and force him to give me some kids." On second thought, maybe I'll do that instead of asking him. Tilda, she thought before running towards the van waiting for husband to exit the van, but when he didn't come out she called out to one of the crew members. "Oh, so where is my husband?" she said in a strained voice, causing the behemoth of a man to become terrified. He stayed behind. "Why?" Gulp. "I think he was going to help some kunoichis." Seeing the infuriated face of his boss's self-proclaimed wife, he ran away as fast as his legs could carry him. "So my husband decides to leave his loving wife by herself. Well, just you wait, sweetheart, I'll find you, and when I do I'll make sure you never want to leave me again." She ran back to their home to get prepared to leave, making a mental note to make sure she got rope, aphrodisiacs, and fertility pills. Back to bridge. Leader felt a shiver go up his spine. "Well, I guess Kuremi found out I left," he thought before turning back to the kunoichi, looking at a feral-looking girl with slitted eyes, wild long brown hair, elongated canines, and fang-like marks on her cheeks. "Well, Kira-chan grew up quite nicely," he thought before looking at the second-to-last person. She had short dark hair and pale skin. She wore a black jacket that stopped at her midriff and a pair of black very short shorts. "I don't know her, but she fights with great skill." The last of the Konoha group was a girl whose features couldn't be seen due to her coat and shades. Shizukana, stoic as ever, he thought before looking at their enemy. She was dressed as a hunter nin with a few senbon in her hand. So it seems Haku-chan has gotten stronger. As he watched them fight, Haku seemed to be holding her own just fine with only some trouble. Suddenly the air filled with the sound of birds. Turning toward the sound, Leader saw a woman with gray gravity-defying hair running toward a woman with long dark hair and bandages around her mouth being held down by a woman with purple pineapple-style hair. Pupilless violet eyes wearing a trench coat with a mesh shirt underneath, which didn't hide much of her figure, along with an orange mini-skirt and shin guards. The other woman had long black hair, red eyes and a dress that looked like it was made of bandages. Leader then bolted towards the women, knowing who the woman being held down was, and if he knew Haku as well as he did, she would use herself as a human shield to protect Hasaki-sama. He got bewildered looks from the kunoichi as they wondered why a man would be running towards them. He passed them without so much as a glance, heading straight towards Kazumi, and just as he got there, just as he predicted, Haku appeared in front of the deadly jutsu before he knocked her out of the way and caught Kazumi's hand just as she was an inch away from his heart, holding her in place as her jutsu ran out of power. "Good to see you, Kazumi-chan," he said before releasing her hand and turned to the three women behind. "Good to see you too, Hasaki-chan. Anko-chan, Kurenai-chan." "How do I?" asked Anko before she was cut off by the sound of laughing. They turned to see a fat munchkin of a man slowly making his way towards the kunoichi. "It appears the demon of the mist isn't as strong as she makes out to be," he said. "Gato, what are you doing here?" "Well, I figured I'd save myself some money and just kill you off or take you and the kunoichi here as toys," he said with a lecherous grin as he eyed the figures. "And I'm sure these boys would love to have some fun," he said as an large group of mercenaries appeared behind him, all brandishing weapons. "I'm afraid you won't be doing that," said Leader as he stepped in front of the group. "And who might you be?" "Someone that hates rapists." "Ah, I see. You want a part of them too. Okay, we can work something out." Leader narrowed his eyes before he pressed on something on his left wrist and a whirring noise filled the air. "Da fuck is that?" yelled a merc, pointing at a small cloud of things flying towards them. "That, my friend, is some things that are good at what they do." As he trailed off, the objects got close enough to be able to be discerned as hovering robots with a mounted gun on the underside of them, looking at the mercenaries with a green circle, and what they do is kill those that deserve to die. "Gentlemen, say hello to my quad drones. They will be the last thing you see. Goodbye." The green circles soon turned red and the drones began firing into the group, killing them all with ruthless efficiency. Soon the group had been left with only one survivor, Gato. The man had been shot through the legs and now tried to crawl away from the one that had been the cause of his wounds, only to stop as someone planted a foot on his back. Please let me go," he pleaded. "And why should I do that?" Please, I'll give whatever you want." How about the combination to your safe? If you give me that, I'll consider letting you live." Gato quickly agreed and gave him what he wanted. So you'll let me go, right?" "Yeah, no. But you said you'd let me go." "I said I would consider it, but as you can see, I believe it's best to make sure you never hurt anyone again. Now hold still." Leader's right shoulder then glowed before a pump-action shotgun popped out, which he quickly grabbed and pointed at Gato's head, and before Gato could beg, he pulled the trigger, killing the tyrant. He turned back to the group, writing something down on a piece of paper and handed it to Kazumi. "Here. This is the combination to Gato's safe. You can give back the deeds he stole to the villagers as well as the money." Thank you, but why did you help us?" "How could I not help the woman who helped protect me when I was little?" said Leader, which at this information caused all the kunoichi present, excluding the pale girl, breaths to hitch. With a shaky voice, Kazumi asked the question everyone wanted to know. Naruto-kun?" she said, causing Leader to reach up behind his head, pressing a button, loosening the mask before he pulled it off, completely revealing his blonde hair, sun-kissed skin, azure eyes, and whiskered face. "Hey, miss me?" Naruto stood there staring at the shocked faces of the kunoichi. Hello? Anybody in there?" he said as he waved his hand back and forth in front of their faces, hoping to get a reaction out of them. He was then glommed by an over-ecstatic Hinata. "You're alive. You're alive," she yelled with tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. It's okay, Hinata-chan. Don't cry," he said as he rubbed her back in an attempt to soothe her. "Sniff, I thought I would never say sniff see you again," she said in a quivering voice, and as she looked at his face, her desires overwhelmed her. She grasped the sides of his head, pulling herself closer, causing Naruto to become increasingly nervous. Hinata-chan? What are you? Mmmmmmpppphh? He was cut off as Hinata pressed her lips to his, greatly enjoying the unique taste of his lips, and using his surprise to her advantage she slid her tongue into his mouth, coiling it around his. All the while Naruto had one thought in his mind: Kuremi is going to kill me. In Fire Country. As Kuremi walked out of the village gates she stopped as another feeling overwhelmed her. My husband is kissing someone. Other than me. Naruto, I swear on Kami herself, when I find you you'll regret leaving me alone. When I get my hands on you, no matter how much you beg, I will rape you until you help me give birth to a family of 100 kids, and even then I might not stop. Prepare your body. Tilda. Back to Naruto. I fear for my innocence. Naruto thought as another shiver ran up his spine as he and the group made their way back to Tazuna's house with Hinata clinging to his right arm, making all the girls, excluding the pale girl who Naruto learned was named Sai, throw her jealous glares. As soon as they got to the home, Naruto was bombarded with questions. Oh, okay, slow down, I can't understand you all at once. When the girls finally calmed down, Kazumi was the first to speak. Naruto-kun, why do you have all those weapons? She asked, gesturing to his visible weapons. Oh, that, well, I'm a mercenary, hitman, assassin, depends on what job I take. He answered in a casual tone of voice, getting immediate responses from the women that took care of him when he was younger, with Kazumi, Anko, and Kurenai scolding him, saying that he could get hurt. When Kazumi noticed Hisaki smiling at Naruto, she asked him, Naruto-kun, how do you know her? She said, eyeing the woman in question with a calculating gaze. Oh, well, I met her 2 years ago. Flashback 3 years. A teenager about 18 years of age walked back to his apartment. He had dark skin and blonde hair, and he still bore the smirk he got from harassing some girl. Man, that Maho chick is so fucking. What I would do to her, haha. Maybe I should quit playing nice with and get bit more aggressive. At least her boyfriend is out of town, that makes things easier. He said before walking to his room, only to be hit in the face by a gloved fist, knocking him to the ground. Holding his now broken nose, he looked up at his attacker. He couldn't see the guy's face, all he knew was he wore a formal black suit with a blood-red tie with tie clip keeping it close to his white shirt. Who the fuck are you? He shouted, with his only response was having a custom-made sliverballer pistol with a silencer being pointed at his head. LL, look man, you don't have to do this, I got money, you can have it. Just don't shoot. He pleaded, but his attacker, soon-to-be killer, only said, my client has asked that you be killed. I intend to do just that. He said in a monotone voice before steadying his hand. He has also said to tell you that Maho hates rapists. He pulled the trigger. Good job, kid, your contract is completed, here are your earnings, said a bald-headed man as he gave Naruto the money he earned. Naruto thanked him and left the office, pocketing the cash and walking back to his campsite. When he got back, he noticed 2 women going through his things. From what Naruto could tell, they were both kunoichi, if the slashed kiri headband on the bigger of the 2 were any indication of it. Excuse me, ladies, said Naruto, causing the 2 to turn around, drawing their weapons at him. However, Naruto was unfazed by this. What do you think you 2 are doing with my stuff? The 2 didn't answer. You know what? I don't care. Just, can you leave it alone? What's stopping us from killing and taking your stuff? Asked the bigger of the 2 in a threatening tone. Fair point, but how about this, you don't kill me and or take my stuff and I'll cook you some food. Let you rest here, and in the morning I'll give some money and we can go our separate ways? You guys look, you can use some food and rest. As if to confirm his statement, both kunoichi's stomach growled loudly. Alright, but no funny business or I'll cut you in 2, said the bigger of the 2, pointing her giant cleaver of a sword at him before putting it back on her back. Soon the 3 were sitting near the campfire waiting for the 3 rabbits Naruto had caught beforehand to finish cooking. So, what are your names? Asked Naruto in hopes of starting a pleasant conversation. The 2 didn't answer, only eyeing him with some suspicion and some very well masked lust. Hey, I'll guess I'll say mine first. My name's Naruto, he said, reaching out his hand towards the bigger woman for a handshake, who eyed it for a couple of seconds before taking it in hers. Hisaki, she said simply with a firm shake. Pleasure to meet you, Hisaki-chan, he said, flashing her his foxy smile, making her face heat up under her bandages. Naruto then reached his hand towards the smaller girl. And you are? Haku, she said shyly, shaking his hand. Nice to meet you too, Haku-chan, flashing her another foxy smile, causing her face to heat up as well. It seems that the meat is cooked, Naruto said, turning around and bent over to get meat off the spit, giving Hisaki and Haku a good view of his backside. Nice butt. was the shared thought of the two before the view was taken away when Naruto turned around to serve them the food. The two soon opened up to Naruto, telling him about the civil war their village was fighting. "So you don't think the Mizukage is doing this of her own free will?" asked Naruto. "No, I don't. She always cared for every villager, bloodline or not. I wasn't just her bodyguard, I was, and still am, her friend. She wouldn't just start killing off villagers because they had bloodlines. There has to be reason," answered Hisaki. Did she seem different when the killing started?" "Well, yeah, she did. A day before the killings she was happy, full of life, then the next day she was emotionless and her eyes were glassy and blank as if she wasn't even in her body," she said, now having her suspicions confirmed that something had happened to the Mizukage before the war. "It's getting late, we should turn in," said Naruto as he got out some spare blankets and sleeping bags for the girls before grabbing his blanket and sleeping bag out of his tent. "My tent isn't very big, but I think you two will fit in there," he said before laying his stuff down near the fire. "We couldn't do that, you've done a lot for us already." "We'll sleep outside," said Hisaki. "No, it's fine," replied Naruto. Just as Hisaki was about to protest, a thought popped into her head, causing a perverted smile to form under bandages. "Excuse us for a moment," she said before pulling Haku into the tent. Naruto heard whispers then rustling come from the tent before Hisaki and Haku came back out, and what they were dressed in caused Naruto to sport a huge blush. Hisaki was dressed in a tight white shirt that accentuated her fluorine monofluoride cup-sized S and black panties showing off her wide childbearing hips. Haku was dressed in an ice blue loose-fitting shirt that showed a bit of cleavage from her B cup, bordering on C cup sized boobs, and a pair of white panties. However, she had the decency to blush at her choice of clothing or lack thereof. "Www, why are you two dressed like TTT that?" Naruto asked nervously but received no answer. Instead, Hisaki walked to where he stood and slung him over her shoulder and walked back to the tent with Haku following close behind. Hey. "P, put me down," yelled Naruto as he struggled to get free but was then thrown into his tent, and before he could get up he was pushed down by Hisaki, placing her foot on his chest, giving him a good view of her panties. "And where do you think you're going?" I'm going back to my sleeping bag." "Nah, you're not sleeping outside." Well, where do you expect me to sleep?" he asked, fearing her answer. "Why, here with us, of course." Hisaki answered in a cheery tone. I can't sleep here," protested Naruto. "Why not?" "See, could it be you think we're ugly?" Hisaki said dramatically as she used some water jutsu to complete the illusion, as if she was actually crying, with Haku doing the same. Both of course had prepared if Naruto said no to sleeping with them, and he fell for it hook, line, and sinker. "No. I don't think at all. I think you both are gorgeous women, and I would be happy to sleep with you too. I just wasn't thinking straight," he exclaimed in an effort to keep them from crying. "Good. Now all you have to do is get out of clothes." Said Hisaki, quickly switching back to her cheery tone. Naruto did as he was told and stripped down to his boxers, unknowingly giving the two a free show. When he finally finished, Hisaki and Haku admired his athletic build and soon focused on his lower regions, licking their lips. Naruto was pushed into the blankets with Hisaki and Haku joining him. Hisaki grabbed his head and pressed it into her S, smirking at his blushing face before. Haku opted for going underneath Naruto's arm and placing her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat erratically. "Good night, Naruto-kun," said the two. "GG, good night, G girls," he said before closing his eyes, slowly drifting off to sleep. Morning. When Naruto awoke in the morning, he noticed that both Hisaki and Haku were awake, since Hisaki was running her hand through his hair and Haku was tracing circles on his chest with her finger. When Naruto was finally free, he went to prepare some breakfast while Hisaki and Haku went to a nearby river to freshen up. As Naruto cooked the food, he felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned around to see a blushing Hisaki and Haku. "Oh hey guys, I was just making some breakfast. Don't worry, I'll give you the money I promised," he said with a smile. "Actually, we don't want the money, Naruto-kun," said Hisaki. "Oh, well, do you want some breakfast?" "Well, we wanted to ask you something." "What is it?" "Well, we don't want to be given handouts, we want to earn the money." "Okay, and we were wondering if you wouldn't mind having us as bodyguards? We could even help you with your work if you need it. And it wouldn't be for long, maybe for a year if you don't mind," she said, hoping he would say, "Yes? Well, I guess that would be okay," he said, blushing at the idea of having the two women as companions, especially if he had to sleep with them like last night. No sooner had the words left his mouth he was globbed by two very happy women. End flashback. From then on we traveled together around the elemental nations for a year before we parted ways. Naruto said before he was pulled into hug by Hisaki, ripping him away from Hinata, who was none too happy about it and became even angrier when Hiku took her place. Yep, I even taught him how to use swords. And I taught how to use Senbon. By the way, you still haven't thanked us for that, Naruto-kun. What do you mean? I thanked you. I mean you haven't thanked us properly, Hisaki said as she and Hiku pressed their bodies closer to Naruto, causing the girls to become increasingly jealous before they all attempted to rip Naruto away from the two and towards themselves, resulting in a tug-of-war with Naruto. 3 weeks later, after 2 weeks the bridge was completed, the group stayed for another 5 days enjoying the celebration the villagers had thrown, then bid farewell and left, heading back to the leaf. Soon the village gates came into view. Halt. State your name for coming into the village, said the gate guard. Kazumi Hitaki and Team 7 returning from mission. Kurenai Yuhi and Team 8 returning from mission. Anko Miritashi returning from mission. They said, producing the documents confirming this. And those three? The gate guard said, pointing to Hisaki, Hiku, and Naruto, who had put his mask back on to avoid alarms being raised. Those two are Kunoichi, wanting to find some sanctuary from their civil war in Kiri. The other is an old friend of the Hokage, said Kazumi. Said the gate guard seemed to accept this and allowed the group entry. Naruto-kun, you should probably meet with the Hokage, I'm sure she'll be glad to see you, said Kazumi with an eye smile. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Obaa-chan, said Naruto, agreeing with her. The group soon left, leaving Naruto to go meet the Hokage by himself. Hiriko looked up from her paperwork when she heard the doors open and saw a masked person standing in front of her. Can I help you? She asked, slightly unnerved by the mosque's white pupils. Hey, don't tell me you've gotten so old that you can't even recognize as your own grandson Obaa-chan, said the masked man as he started to pull off his mask, revealing his face to her. "NN Naruto-kun?" exclaimed Hiriko. "The one and only," replied Naruto with a smile before being brought into a hug. When Hiriko released him, she instantly asked him, "Where have you been for the past 9 years?" "I've been traveling, doing some unsavory jobs here and there." "Why, you haven't been, haven't been what? Pouring yourself out?" replied Hiriko with a blush. "WW what? No, I'm still a virgin." "How could you even think that? Obaa-chan?" Naruto yelled with a red face, causing Hiriko to breathe a sigh of relief, happy that her surrogate grandson hadn't sold out his body. Meanwhile, a certain Neko masked Anbu hidden in the shadows of the office did the same, except her reasons weren't entirely pure like Hiriko's. "Sorry, it's just the way you said it. Never mind. What jobs did you do?" "Well, I did some contract killings and some mercenary work. And I was sorta hoping you could use my services, I kinda need some work," he said, scratching the back of his head. "Well, I suppose I could hire you, but I would need to tell the council for their support and they would ask to see you pre-form in order to come to a decision." "No problem, I'm okay with that." "Good, in the meantime you should go explore the village, maybe see your old friends, I'm sure they'll be happy to see you. I'll send an Anbu to find when everything is ready." "Okay, then see you later, Obaa-chan," said Naruto, walking out the door. Konoha. As Naruto walked around, he decided to head to his favorite ramen shop. Wonder how the old man and Ayame-chan are doing, he thought to himself. "Welcome to Ichiraku's. What can I get you today?" Welcomed Ayame as she turned to face the customer. "Hey Ayame-chan, long time no see," said Naruto with a smile as he sat at the counter. "And Naruto-kun?" exclaimed Ayame, shocked, seeing the face of someone she thought to have long since perished. She soon got over her shock and reached over the counter, bringing him in for a tight hug. "Hey, it's good to see you too, Ayame-chan," said Naruto, returning the hug. "I can't believe it's you, I thought you." She trailed off, not wanting to relive the day she thought he died. "Sorry for making you worry all these years," he said with an apologetic look on his face. "It's okay, but where were you all these years?" "I did some traveling and some odd jobs." "Hey, where's the old man?" "Oh, Dad's sick, so it's just me," she said. "Well, I'll have to see him some other time then." Could I get some miso pork ramen?" "Sure thing." Ayame then disappeared into the kitchen to prepare the food before reappearing in a matter of minutes, wanting to spend more time with Naruto. "Wow, Naruto-kun sure has grown up from a cute little kid to a hot guy. I wonder if he's seeing someone," Ayame thought to herself before deciding to ask him. "So Naruto-kun, you have girlfriend yet?" she said bluntly, causing Naruto to choke on his food. Cough. What brought that up? Oh come on, it's an honest question. I mean, have you taken a look at yourself? She said, causing him to blush. I am and not that good looking. And to answer your question, I don't have a girlfriend, he answered. Well, is there anyone you would consider dating? Ayame asked, hoping to get some more information out of him. Well. Maybe. He said shyly. Well, would you ever consider dating someone like me? She asked with a slight blush but kept her gaze on him. Well, gulp. I think so. He stuttered out with a completely red face. His answer caused Ayame to form a smile on her face, but before she could respond, a Neko-masked Anbu appeared behind Naruto. Nah. Uzumaki-san, your presence is requested in the council chambers. Oh well, I guess I have to go. I'll see you later, Ayame-chan. He paid for the meal and put his mask back on. He was then grabbed by the Anbu, who made sure to press his back onto her sizable orbs, and disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Council chambers. When the two reappeared, the Anbu reluctantly let Naruto go before disappearing into the shadows. So this is the man who wishes to use his services for Konoha? Asked a balding man on the civilian side of the council. He doesn't look much, said Sume Inuzuka. Looks can be deceiving, Inuzuka-sama. I assure you I am very skilled in what I do. Naruto countered. Perhaps you think so, but we will need to see proof of your so-called skills, said Asasha Hyuga. By all means, Hyuga-sama, what job would you all have me do? Asked Naruto. Hiriko then handed him a folder marked, Kill, Protect. Naruto opened it and saw 4 pictures. The first one was of 3 people, 2 girls and 1 guy. They all looked to be around Naruto's age. The pink-haired girl is the one you need to protect. Her name is Otome, said Hiriko. Who ordered the contract? Asked Naruto. Why would that be of importance? Asked Inoko Yamanaka. Because if they refuse to pay or try to set me up, I'll be able to deal with them. Fair enough, said Inoko. The man who ordered it was her boyfriend, Kazuki. He is the one beside her in the picture, said Hiriko. Naruto then looked at the other 3 pictures, one of a fat man with bowl haircut, a bald old man, and a man with graying brown hair. These are the men you will kill. Their names are Kana Yuto, Seto Kuso, and Hirito Ato. It appears that they wish to defile the girl, Hiriko said, causing Naruto's eyes to narrow. We do not have any addresses for the men, so you will need to find that out on your own. Very well, am I allowed to do whatever I want to get to them? Yes, as long as there are no civilian casualties. Good, consider it done. I will inform you when the deed done, said Naruto. Good, remember we will be watching you. Hiriko then said, this meeting is now adjourned. I ask the Kunoichi Council stay behind to discuss some details. When the civilian council left, Hiriko said to Naruto, can you remove your mask, Naruto-kun? Naruto, cried the council when she said that. Naruto did as he was asked and removed his mask, smiling at the clan matriarchs. The clan matriarchs finally got over their shock when they realized the boy they had taken care of as a child was assigned to kill 3 men and they had agreed to it. Naruto, we're sorry, we didn't know it was you. Don't worry, Udon, said Asasha before she was cut off by Naruto. Don't worry, I want to do it, he said, simply, shocking the Kunyachi. No. We won't let you. You could get hurt or killed. We won't go through that again, yelled Sume, getting nods of agreement from the others. Naruto simply sighed. Look, I know you blame yourselves for what happened years ago, but you have to understand I'm not little anymore. I can take care of myself. So please don't worry about me. I promise I won't die, he said, starting out in a firm voice before softening at the end. The clan matriarchs begrudgingly accepted that fact. So I guess I should go prepare? Of course, and don't worry, I'll make sure to tell all Kunyachi not to interfere with anything you do, Hiriko said, getting a nod from Naruto, who walked towards the door. Oh, before I forget, I have a welcome back gift for you, Hiriko said before throwing him some keys. What's this? Naruto asked. Those are the keys to your parents' home, and since you are technically of age, it now belongs to you. You'll find it at the top of the Hokage monument. She finished, smiling at the look of gratitude on Naruto's face as left the room. Red Light District. By the time Naruto got to the Red Light District, it was mid-afternoon. He headed into an alley and touched something behind a dumpster and leaned on a wall before the space next him opened to reveal a staircase, which he calmly walked down on before the wall closed itself up again. Naruto soon came to a metal door with a keypad next to it. He inputted some numbers, causing it to open before sealing itself shut again as soon as he was through. Naruto then stood behind a bespectacled man in wheelchair typing away on a computer. "How are you doing, Rindo?" he called out, slightly scaring the man. "You shouldn't scare me like that, Naruto, or else you'll be without your #1 spy." Rindo said with a sigh. "I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, I need your help." "Oh, with what?" "I need the addresses of these men," Naruto said, pulling out the pictures of the men. "Sure thing," said Rindo, taking the pictures and put them into a slot in computer. Soon a buzzer was heard from the computer along with the words, "Unable to find," on the screen. "Damn," cursed Rindo. "What?" asked Naruto. "It seems I underestimated these guys. They must have paid someone good to protect their identities. I can't find their addresses without them noticing," answered Rindo with a scowl. "The most I can get is that they don't live in the village. So basically we don't have jack shit for getting them." "Well, not necessarily. I was also able to get the locations of some businesses they own in the village. If someone were to relive them of their income and or merchandise, the owners would come to check it out," finished Naruto. "Yeah, the only problem is that these guys are probably really protective of their stuff, so they are bound to have some muscle protecting the places, but they shouldn't be a problem for you," Rindo said with a smirk. "Alright, get me the info on the locations," said Naruto. "Already done if you'll follow me," Rindo said before wheeling himself to a different room that only contained a couch, a table, some chairs, and an electronic screen replacing a wall at the end of it. He took out a remote and turned the screen on, showing a jewelry store. Now this place is owned by Kana Yuto. It has a simple setup, 2 cameras recording to closed-circuit video feed, and a guard at the door unarmed save for a taser. The jewels are good quality, so the take should be really good. "How much?" asked Naruto. "Around $4 million, answered Rindo. "Damn." However, the jewels are put in a safe at night. "So we're gonna have to do it in broad daylight," said Naruto. "Yep," agreed Rindo. "Well, at least I get to do this the fun way." "Alright, for the crew we'll have to get some guys from within Konoha, since bringing some of our guys will draw some questions unless you told the Hokage of our village." "No, not yet. I'm sure if the civilian council and elders found out who I am and see that I have my own village, they'll either kill me and take over or destroy the village and everyone in it." "You really think they're corrupt and greedy enough to do it?" "I know so." "Alright, so for the crew we'll need 3 people. A hacker, a gunman, and a driver." Rindo then handed Naruto a tablet that showed the faces of 2 men. "The driver will source some motorcycles for a quick exit as well as guiding you." Naruto looked at the choices and picked out his choice, seeing it pop up on the huge screen. "Siyodako? Well, he's more costly, but he's good." "Now for the gunman. This guy will be doing crowd control," said Rindo, and soon saw Naruto's choice. "Akio Soto? Well, he costs less, but he's had practice. You should do alright with him." "And finally the hacker. They'll disable the alarm and buy you some time. How much depends on how good they are." Naruto made his final choice. "Urata Riko. Well, he's not the best of the best, but he costs very little and he should get you enough time," Rindo said, a little weary of Naruto's choice. "Okay, well, I'll get into contact with them and call you when we're ready. You should get some rest while you still can." "Yeah, see ya later, Rindo," said Naruto, making his way to the exit. Konoha. When Naruto left, he noticed it was still early and decided whether or not to go straight to his new house. However, his thoughts were interrupted by someone nearly knocking him to the ground by jumping on his back. Turning his head, he saw who grabbed him, recognizing her from her blonde hair. "I knew I'd find you eventually," happily yelled Ino as she clung on tighter to Naruto's back. "Ino-chan, how did you find out I was back?" asked Naruto, slightly blushing from feeling press her boobs into his back. Ino let him go and turned him around. "Sakura told me along with all of our friends when she got back from the mission. Pretty much everyone knows you're here." "Well, so much for keeping my identity a secret," thought Naruto. "It's a good thing I found you. I wanted to invite you as soon as possible." Invite me to what?" Naruto asked, unaware to the small glint in Ino's pupilless blue eyes. "Well, I wanted to invite you to party at my house," she said with a smirk, pressing herself close to Naruto's chest. Actually it's getting late, Ino-chan. I was hoping to get some sleep," he stuttered out, feeling Ino's large bust, which he guessed were a D cup, through his shirt, although his body armor kept him from fully feeling it. "Oh, but that's the best part, it's a slumber party. Tilda," she said coyly. "So what do you say?" Just as Naruto was about to decline, Ino decided to guilt-trip him. "If you don't want to go, that's fine. I'll just tell the others that you didn't want to spend time with your childhood friends." You know, the friends that cried for you when you went missing and never sent any letters to let us know you were okay. But if you have better things to do, then fine. Fine, Naruto said, finally caving. Great. Come on, the others are waiting, said Ino, pulling Naruto towards her home. If I keep my innocence intact while I'm here, it'll be a miracle, was Naruto's final thought. The next day, Naruto was saying goodbye to his friends, who gave him a hug goodbye, although Hinata made sure to press herself as close as possible to him and whispered into his ear, "Don't worry about last night, there'll be more where that came from," she said before bringing a hand down and being very careful to avoid the other's view. She started rubbing him through his pants. A lot more. Tilda. She cooed into his ear before pulling away and said in an innocent tone, "Oh, Naruto-kun, remember to come by the compound soon. I'm sure Hanabi-chan and Nejiko-chan would love to see you again." She finished with a sweet smile that hid her true intentions very well. SS sure, Hinata-chan, Naruto agreed, rubbing the back of his head. "Hey, if you're going to visit her, then you should be able to visit the rest of us, right?" Satsuki said with her arms crossed and a scowl on her face. "Oh, of course, Satsuki-chan." Naruto quickly agreed in order to make the others happy, and it seemed to work since Satsuki's scowl turned into a small smile. Anyway, I should go, I have some business to do," Naruto said before quickly exiting. Hokage Monument. Naruto had made it on top of the monument and looked around for any sign of his parents' home before spotting a lone duffel bag near the edge of the forest. Walking towards it, Naruto saw a note attached to the zipper. "Got you a present from our village. Once you find your house, change into a suit and come see me, we're ready to move." It read. Naruto unzipped it and found an assortment of clothes, weapons, and body armor. After Naruto did a bit more searching, he found a strange mark, and upon further inspection turned out to be a seal, a blood seal. Guess Kuremi-chan was right when she said teaching me about seals would be helpful, he said to himself before biting his thumb and let a drop of blood fall on the seal. It glowed briefly before a path going deeper into the forest was revealed, which Naruto followed and soon came upon a beautiful 3-story house surrounded by a lush garden. Looking around, Naruto spotted a large pool at the right side and a small building attached to the left side of the house that had a sign that said, "Sauna." As Naruto walked toward the door, he couldn't help but marvel at the beauty of the place that had been left untouched by the rest of the forest. He stepped inside and took a look around. Like the outside, the inside was beautiful and clean save for some dust. He saw a kitchen and a dining room next to it with a large mahogany dining table. A hall to his left led to the pool. A hall in front of him had a door which he could assume led to the backyard. And a final hall to his right had a door with some towels and baskets near it. Must be the door for the sauna, Naruto thought before walking into what appeared the living room. He spotted a large portrait in the center of the room that showed a blonde, spiky-haired woman with beautiful blue eyes holding a gorgeous redhead with violet eyes in her arms, but the thing that really caught his attention was the large bump in the redhead's stomach. A smile soon spread on Naruto's face. "Hey Ka-chan, Oka-chan," he said to the picture before spotting a staircase and walked up to the 3rd floor looking for a place to change and place his clothes and supplies. He walked to the door at the very end of the hall, passing many doors. "I'll have to explore later. Right now I got work to do," he said to himself and opened the door and was stunned at the interior. The room was large with a king-sized bed in the center, a private bathroom, a large closet, and a large window on the right window giving him a great view of Konoha. "Well, I better get ready," he said, changing into a buttoned-up black suit with a light blue shirt, black gloves, and a orange striped tie. He placed his supplies in the closet and left towards the red light district. Red light district. Naruto made his way towards the hideout, blushing at and ignoring the various catcalls from the various prostitutes. He walked into the alley and did the same as the day before and walked to the screen room. When he got in, he spotted Rindo propping himself up on a cane talking to 3 men. 2 of them were dressed in suits while the other was dressed in a gray shirt and blue casual pants. "Boss, glad you could make it. Here is the crew," Rindo said, and the men in question took that as a cue to start introducing themselves. "Hello sir, I'm Seo Dako," said a man with a goatee as he shook Naruto's hand. "Good to meet you, Seo. I've heard good things, I hope they are true." "Of course sir." Naruto then turned to a man with a large scar down his right eye. "Hey boss, the name's Akio Soto." "Yes, nice to meet you. I've heard you're pretty good with a gun, is that true?" "Fuck yeah, it is. Good, you'll define in this job." Naruto said, releasing Akio's hand before finally turning to the last man whose only discernible feature was his mismatched eye color. "His sir. I'm Arata Ariko." "Hello Arata, I know you're nervous but don't worry, I'm sure you can buy us enough time," Naruto said with a smile. "Okay, I've already briefed them. Arata will drive you three and the bikes to the store. He'll leave the bikes in an alley at the back of the store and pick you up at the edge of the forest of death. Seo will guide you." "Sounds good, where are the guns?" asked Naruto before Rindo pointed to 3 carbine rifles on the table. "I've modified them with an extended clip, scope, grip, and silencer," he said, handing Naruto, Seo, and Akio. "Okay, it seems we're ready, come on guys, let's go," Naruto said, heading out to their truck. Business district. Naruto sat with the others in the truck waiting to get to the destination, and soon enough they heard Arata say, "We're here." "Okay everyone, showtime," Naruto said, making sure his headset was on, and then slipped on a black motorcycle helmet to hide his face. They exited the truck and made their way to the glass doors, weapons at the ready. Naruto kicked the door in and aimed his weapon at the guard's head, making him back up, while the other 2 aimed at the customers. "Ladies and gentlemen, please don't make us have to waste bullets on your sorry asses." On the floor now, Naruto yelled as the civilians immediately cooperated. "Let's go. Let's go," he yelled to the others before running to the glass cases housing the jewels and used the butt of the gun to smash the glass and grab the precious rocks. This went on for a couple minutes, with them nearly robbing the place clean before a couple of the patrons tried to make a break for it. However, they were stopped by Akio. Whoa. "Where do y'all think you're going? Get on the fucking floor," he said, pointing his gun at them to help persuade them to listen, and it obviously worked. "Nice job, eh? I knew you were perfect for this job," Naruto said before Arata came over the headset. "Guys, could you hurry it up? The most time I can keep alarm from going is a minute." "Don't worry, we're done," yelled Naruto, smashing the last of the cases and grabbed the jewels inside before yelling to the others, "We picked them clean. Let's go." The 3 ran out the door and towards the bikes. They had barely turned on the engines before they heard the alarm go off. "That's our cue." "Where to?" "Follow me," Seo yelled back before making his way out of the alley with the others close behind him. Seo led them down the street, scaring many people who ran to get out of the way before they heard gunshots. Naruto turned his head and saw a small car with a picture of a crumbling gray earth on the door. "Not those assholes," thought Naruto. "Guys, sharp right down this alley," Seo yelled before turning to the right. The others followed his directions and soon they came to the entrance of the Forest of Death. They weaved in between the trees trying to lose their pursuers, but they could not. That was until Seo yelled, "Mud up ahead," into the headset. Lucky the bikes they had were dirt bikes and easily handled the mud, but the car behind them was not so lucky and lost control, crashing into a tree. "I was wondering why you picked these bikes, now I know," said Naruto. "I studied the route and I'm not an idiot," Seo yelled back. The 3 soon exited the forest and saw the truck drive by them with the back door down, allowing them to drive the bikes in, and when they got in, Arata closed the door behind them and drove back to the red light district. Red light district. "Alright everyone, good work. Now head on home, we'll let you know where you need to go to get your money once the rocks have been sold," Naruto said as the 3 departed. "Well, we did it," said Rindo. "Yep," said Naruto. "Well, it's getting late, I should head on home. Let me know when we can move on the other 2 places." "Of course. Oh, here, take this," said Rindo, handing Naruto a small black object with a screen. "What's this?" asked Naruto. "It's a little something I made to make communication easier. I call it a phone. I already put in my number and the village's number in it, so we'll be able to contact you better." "Alright, thank you. Well, I should get going. See ya, boss," Rindo said, waving goodbye. Konoha. Naruto made his way to Ichiraku's to get a bite to eat and to talk to Ayame again since their last conversation was cut short. "Hey Ayame-chan, you still open?" Naruto said, not noticing the closed sign on the counter. "Of course we are, Naruto-kun," Ayame said, quickly snatching away the sign from his line of sight. Ayame soon cooked him a bowl of ramen and smiled as he ate greedily. "Hey Naruto-kun?" began Ayame. Naruto said, looking up from his food. "I was wondering if you wanted to go on a date with me?" she asked with a small blush. Gulp sure. Naruto replied with reddened cheeks. "Great. So is Sunday okay? I have the day off then," she said with a huge smile. "Why yeah," said Naruto before looking up at the clock and saw it was 10:30. "I should head home." Thanks for the food, Ayame-chan, he said before turning to walk out until Ayame called to him. Naruto-kun, before you have something to give you. Huh, what is it? Ayame only smirked before leaning over the counter, making sure to angle herself to show off her clothed S, which were a large C cup bordering on a D cup. Ayame-chan, why you doing? Naruto said in an extremely nervous tone before Ayame grabbed him by his shirt and pulled him in for a deep kiss that lasted for a few minutes before releasing him. That was just a taste for what's to come. Be ready, Tilda, she said with a lustful smirk and waved goodbye to Naruto's retreating form. Near main gate, Naruto made his way home, trying to comprehend the fact that another one of childhood friends had made a move on him. However, he was brought out of his thought when a familiar voice yelled, "I found you." Naruto slowly turned to the source and saw Kuremi standing there, her clothes disheveled, some of her red hair sticking out in different angles, but the things that scared him the most was the fact that she had some rope in her right hand, a pair of pink fuzzy handcuffs in her left hand, a lustful smile on her face, and a glint in her eyes. "How about we get started on our family, sweetie pie? Tilda," she cooed, spreading her arms out wide. Naruto only blinked before leaving a Naruto-shaped cloud behind him as he ran towards his home. "Ah. I love it when you play hard to get. Tilda," Kuremi said before her pupils turned to hearts and she took off after her husband. The last thing that could be heard by everyone in Konoha was, "Sweetheart, come back. I need you so bad." Naruto opened the door to Hiriko's office but went unnoticed due to Hiriko's face being buried in a little book, accompanied by some giggling, and some blood dripping on the desk. "Wow. Never took you for a pervert, Oba-chan," Naruto said, alerting Hiriko to his presence, causing her to hide the book and wipe the blood from her nose. "And Naruto-kun, I wasn't aware you were there," she said with a blush. "Hey, yeah, clearly," Naruto said with a chuckle. "I just wanted to let you know that I'm making progress on the contract," he said, sitting down in a chair. "Oh, so that was you in that robbery?" she asked, getting a nod in response. "Well, you did a good job," Hiriko said with a smile. "Oh. By the way, you remember Hisaki and Haku, right?" Hiriko asked. "Yeah, why do you ask?" Naruto asked. "Well, I've decided that they have no ill intentions, so I'll induct them into the Kunoichi force." "Okay, and the only thing stopping me from doing it is the fact that all Kunoichi have to have residence in Konoha," she said. "Okay," Naruto said, already knowing what she was driving at, "and since you have those extra rooms at your house," Hiriko trailed off. "Kuremi-chan isn't going to be happy," Naruto thought. Fine. They can stay with me," he said with a blush on his face, knowing that he would living with two more women who would most likely rape him at all costs. "Good, I'll send them to your home right away." "No," Naruto yelled, fearing for his manhood since Kuremi would probably rape him for days as restitution for agreeing to house two women. Hiriko gave a stunned look. I mean, I should show them the way home myself. After all, I am the owner of the place." "Hey," Naruto said, scratching the back of his head, hoping his Oba-chan would buy the lame excuse. "Alright then, I'll tell them to meet you at the T&I building in 1 hour, Hiriko said. Naruto nodded before departing from the room. Hiriko waited until his footsteps faded away before pulling out her book again. Fufufu. "Oh, Kyoyu, naughty boy. Tilda being in love with your big brother," she said, blood once again dripping from her nose. T&I building. When Naruto arrived at the building, he spotted Hisaki and Haku happily chatting with Anko, Kurenai, and Kazumi. When the girls noticed him, Hisaki and Haku smiled at him. "We've been told that you'll be taking care of us, Naruto-kun," said Haku. "Yeah. I guess I am," Naruto said with a nervous smile. Hisaki walked up to him and smirked underneath the bandages. "Does that mean you'll be taking care of our every need, Tilda?" she said, tracing her finger on his chest. So where's why your things?" Naruto asked in a shaky voice, hoping to change the subject. "Oh, they were taken to the top of the Hokage monument. You don't have to worry about them, Naruto-kun," Haku said, pulling Hisaki away to keep her from further molesting him. "Oh. So what were you talking about before I showed up?" Naruto asked. "Actually, we were just about to go looking for you," Kurenai said. "We wanted to invite you dinner later tonight at a new restaurant that just opened up." "Oh, sure, sounds great," Naruto said. "Great, we'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight," Kurenai said, walking away with the others, waving goodbye to Naruto. Hyuga compound. Naruto decided he might as well visit some of his friends, and seeing as he was in the general vicinity, he went to visit Hinata and her family. Although he was fearful of what Hinata would do to him if he ended up alone with her. He took off his mask and walked up to the gate before one guard immediately opened the gate. Naruto looked at her with a confused face, since the Hyuga would normally not allow anyone in without any relevant business with the clan or expressed permission from the clan head, although this rule didn't apply to him as a child. Hinata-sama informed us that we were to allow you in should you arrive. She said, giving him a small smile, as did the other Hyuga guard. He smiled back, knowing that most of the clan was very fond of him, always playing with him as a kid when they had the time, giving him treats here and there, and allowing him to sleep in the compound when the caretaker at the orphanage would refuse to allow him in. However, when Naruto told them why he couldn't go to the orphanage, they would say, "We will take care of it." And the next day a new caretaker would take over, since the previous one was hospitalized due to every bone in their body being broken. Weird. Naruto walked into the building and walked around, not looking for anyone in particular. He turned a corner and bumped into an older-looking version of Hinata, but he immediately recognized her as Hitomi, wife of Asasha, as well as one very dear friend, Naruto-kun. Hitomi yelled, bringing him into a very tight hug, as well as having his face pressed into her above-adequate bust. When she finally released Naruto, he was extremely red in the face. "What are you doing here?" "Not that I'm not happy to see you, Naruto-kun," Hitomi said with a sweet smile. "I have to visit Hinata-chan and the others." "Are they here?" Naruto asked. "Yes, Hanabi-chan and Nejiko-chan are with Hinata-chan up in her room." "I'll show you the way." Hitomi started walking down a hall with Naruto walking close behind. "You know, when Hinata-chan returned home after her mission and told us that you were alive and in the village, we nearly busted the door down to try to find you, but she told us that she would invite you to our home. Needless to say, we were all agreed immediately on board." Hitomi said. "I was always hoping you survived," she said, turning towards him smiling. "And I must say that you grew up to be a very handsome young man," she said, her sweet smile turning into a lustful smirk. "Here we are," she said, coming to a stop at a lavender door. "Have fun," she said before giving Naruto a kiss on the cheek and walked away. Naruto held a hand to his blushing face before forcing himself to calm down. He opened the door and quickly regained his blush. On the bed was Nejiko. "So Naruto-kun, what have been doing?" asked Nejiko, tracing shapes on Naruto's chest with her finger. Well, I've been doing a job for Ooba-chan," Naruto answered, completely red in the face. "How long will you be in the village, Naruto-kun?" asked Hanabi. I'm not sure. Well, I hope you stay for a while. I'm glad to have you back." She smiled up at him. "Naruto-kun, do you have anything planned for tomorrow?" Hinata asked. "And no?" "Good, because I was wondering if you wanted to go out on a date with me?" Just as Naruto was about to respond, he was interrupted by Nejiko. "Hey. No fair, Hinata-sama, I was going to ask him out on a date," she said. "What makes you think he wants to go on a date with you?" Hinata yelled back, causing an argument to erupt between her and her cousin. "Both of you are wrong, he would rather go out with me," Hanabi yelled, jumping into heated yelling match. "You?" Both Hinata and Nejiko shouted. "I'm sorry, Hanabi-sama, but you couldn't possibly please him with your tiny bust," Nejiko said, pointing at her B-cup S. "Shut up. That just means I have more potential," Hanabi yelled back. Naruto used the fight to slip away from the girls and make a break for the door. "Naruto-kun," came three separate voices. "Wait for me by the Hokage tower," yelled the three before going back to arguing, which Naruto took the opportunity to run towards his home. Naruto's house. Naruto ran into the house panting heavily. "Sweetie, is that you?" came Kuremi's voice from the kitchen. "Pant, yeah, it's me." "Pant asterisk," Naruto answered, walking into the kitchen. He was greeted by the sight of Kuremi clad in an orange apron and, "That's it, KK Kuremi-chan, why are you dressed like that?" Naruto stuttered out. "Well, since I'm your wife, it's fine to be dressed like this in our own home. If you're hungry, I can cook up something. There's plenty of food in some storage seals here," she said, opening a fridge to show fresh food inside. Naruto could only stare at her naked backside, and even though he had with her last night, it still embarrassed him to stare. "KK ahem, Kuremi-chan, can we talk?" Naruto asked, forcing away his stutter. "Of course, honey." Naruto led her to the living room and sat down on the couch while Kuremi opted to sit on his lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. "So what did you want to talk about, dear?" Kuremi-chan, hypothetically speaking, if we were to house 2 women here, would you be okay with that? Naruto asked, bracing himself for the worst. Oh, have they already put you in the CRA? Kuremi asked, not at all angry. Wait, what? Don't you remember me telling you that since you came from the Uzumaki clan you would be put in the CRA? No, you never mentioned that. All you told is what the CRA is. You never said I would be in it. Oops, sorry, she said, giving him a bashful smile causing him to sweat drop. Well, if you put into the CRA I wouldn't mind. But if you're okay with me being with other women, why would you get angry when other women flirted with me? I just wanted to the first to have your innocence, and now that I got it I'm fine if you want to have other wives. But I have a few conditions. 1. I get to decide if someone is worthy of being inducted into your harem. 2. They must understand that I will be the first to have your children. And 3. They must be okay with sharing. So as long as you love us all equally I'm okay with you dating and marrying other women. She said, now since we got that out of the way, how about we go upstairs and have a little bit more fun? Tilda? Kuremi said, pulling the apron over her head showing Naruto her naked body again. You know what, let's not wait until we get upstairs, we can do it down here on the couch. Gulp. See, can't we talk about this? Nope. Now hurry up and fuck me, Kuremi said, pouncing on Naruto. Kuremi and Naruto laid on the couch covered in a light sheen of sweat. Kuremi-chan, can you let me up, I have to get ready for something. Naruto said, unable to move since Kuremi had clung on to his arm and intertwined their legs together. Can't we stay like this for a little while longer? Kuremi whined. Sorry, but I have to get ready for a get-together right now. And after that I have to bring the 2 women I told you about here. Naruto said. Sigh. Okay, Kuremi said, releasing him. Naruto headed upstairs to his bathroom and showered, ridding himself of all the sweat he had acquired during his time with Kuremi. He stepped out clad in only a towel and started to dress himself in black jeans, black dress shoes, a dark gray vest, a white striped tie, and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up showing off his muscular arms. He reached deeper into the duffel bag and pulled out a dark-colored watch, putting it on his left wrist. Okay, Kuremi-chan, I'm heading out, I'll be back soon. Naruto said, coming back downstairs to see Kuremi still on her back on the couch. Okay, honey. Have fun, she said, opening her arms as an indication of what she wanted. Naruto blushed and brought his face closer to her, receiving a kiss. However, when he tried to pull back, Kuremi wrapped her arms and legs around him, keeping him in place as she used her tongue to explore his mouth before deciding to wrestle his tongue. Hurry back, Tilda, she whispered into his ear after releasing. Naruto only nodded before walking out the door. Konoha, 7:50 p.m. Naruto stood waiting in front of the new restaurant that Kurenai had told him about, waiting for the girls to show up. Okay. Right now I'm going on a dinner date with the women who took care of me. Tomorrow I have to go wait for Hinata-chan, Nejiko-chan, or Hanabi-chan. Then 2 days after that I have to pick up Ayame-chan for her date. Well, aren't I the popular one? Naruto thought to himself before he felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned around to see the women he was waiting on standing behind him clad in beautiful dresses. Kurenai had red and black strapless dress that ended just above her knees along with red heels. Anko had a short purple dress with black underneath her S, making them more pronounced, as well as some lines slanted all the way down her dress and open-toed black heels. Kazumi had a sliver strapless top with a black skirt and some black heels, her ever-present mask still in place. Hisaki had a deep blue dress that stopped at mid-thigh and open-toed silver shoes as well as her mask. Haku had an ice blue dress covered in flower designs and white open-toed shoes. Behind them was a violet-haired woman wearing a mid-thigh high black with purple going down the middle dress with black heels. She smiled at him and moved some of her hair behind her shoulder, revealing the mark on her shoulder. Yugo-chan? Naruto asked, remembering a violet-haired Anbu that had protected him when he was younger by incapacitating the drunk civilians who would attack him. Although her idea of incapacitating was breaking the offender's arms and or legs as well as fracturing their skulls. Yugo walked to Naruto and brought him into a tight hug. It's good to see you again, Naruto-kun, she said, releasing him. Wow, Naruto-kun. You clean up nice. Anko said, walking up to him and admired his choice of clothing. Really nice. Tilda, she said, rubbing his chest, and smiled for being to feel the muscle underneath. TT, thanks. Should we head in? Naruto asked, getting nods in response. Welcome to the Golden Dragon. Do you have a reservation? asked a female worker. Yes, we do. Under the name Yuhi, answered Kurenai. Ah, here it is. Yuhi party of 7. Please follow me, said the worker after consulting her reservation list. The group was seated in the middle of room by other patrons. They didn't wait long before a waiter came up and took their order. Soon the food came and the group chatted away talking about previous exploits. So you mean to tell us that you took a whole bandit camp single-handedly? Asked Kazumi. Yep, though they were really stupid so I don't count it as a real fight, said Naruto. Hey Naruto-kun, Anko said, causing him to turn to face her and spot the sake bottle in her hand. Think you can handle it? She said, offering a small glass filled with the aforementioned drink. I don't think that's a good idea, Anko-chan. Naruto said, politely refusing the drink. Oh come on, you're old enough for a little sake. Besides, I want to see how much our little Naruto-kun has grown, Anko persisted. Naruto wasn't worried about getting drunk since the time Kuremi-chan spent sealed inside him had caused him to gain a very high tolerance for most things including alcohol, so he decided to humor Anko, so he took the glass from her, a toast to our now grown-up Naruto-kun. May he be around for a long time, Anko said, raising her glass as did the others and downing the contents. Konoha. As Naruto walked down to Konoha, he reached into his pocket and pulled out the phone that Rindo had given him. Touching screen, he was able to bring up Rindo's name, who he immediately called. Hello. Rindo, it's me. I called to see if it made any progress on the job? Yeah, I have. I found the location of a bank owned by a Seto Kuso. It's located at the edge of the financial district. Rindo said, okay, so what's the best approach for this? Well, normally I would suggest a straightforward approach, but looks like that last job we pulled got a lot of attention. The guy called in dead world mercs for protection. A lot of them. We won't be able to take them head on without some heavy weapons. We'll have to sneak in. Naruto sighed at this. Okay, how do you propose we do that? There is a sewer system that runs underneath it. I took the liberty of looking over some schematics and it shows an abandoned sewer tunnel right next to it. It looks like it leads right into the red light district, so you would be able to head right back here without anybody knowing. Good. How many people would we need for the job? Only one. It should be a gunman in case things go bad. Okay, call Akio and tell him to meet me near the bank tomorrow and to bring a wetsuit. Right away, boss. Naruto hung up the phone and noticed that he had just arrived at the tower. He didn't have to wait long as someone put their hands over his eyes and whispered into his ear. Guess who? Tilda? Naruto then felt two large objects press into his back, and judging by the size of them he could tell who it was. Hinata-chan. The person then released him and turned him around. Right? Smiled Hinata. Here's your reward. Tilda. She then pulled Naruto in close and planted a kiss on his lips. She was then able to push her tongue into his mouth, allowing her to coil her tongue around his Taste just like I remember. Tilda, she said after letting him go. She grabbed his arm and started to pull him forward. Where are we going? Asked Naruto. I was thinking we could have a picnic at the park. She answered, showing him a basket she was carrying before she continued on. Park. Hinata laid down a white blanket on the ground and seated herself and Naruto on it before pulling the food out of the basket. The two then began snacking on some sandwiches, enjoying each other's company. Hey Hinata-chan? How did you get Hanabi-chan and Nejiko-chan to let go on this date? Oh, well, they said that they would be tied up today, so they let me go, she said with an innocent smile. Naruto only nodded and went back to his food. Ah, that was delicious, Hinata-chan. I didn't know you were such a good cook, Naruto complimented before he started to feel drowsy. So much so he could barely keep his eyes open. Hinata-chan, what did you put? Was all he could get out before the drowsiness overtook him. The last thing he saw before he passed out was Hinata's innocent face smiling at him. When Naruto woke up, he noticed that he was alone in the bed. He got up and dressed himself in a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and black and white tennis shoes before making his way downstairs. As he entered the living room, he was greeted by the delicious smell of food. He entered the dining room and saw a plate piled high with pancakes covered with syrup and a scoop of butter on top. Seated to the sides to him were his wives. Kuremi was only dressed in a red bra and panties. Hisaki was dressed in a blue t-shirt and black panties. Haku was more appropriately dressed of the two, as she was wearing a white shirt and blue shorts. Good morning, Naruto-kun, they said in unison. We made you breakfast, Haku said with a sweet smile. You need it after last night. Hisaki said with a smirk, by the way you were amazing. She finished with a wink. Naruto blushed faintly, sat down and began eating his meal. So what do you have planned today, Naruto-kun? Asked Kuremi. Oh well, I got to meet up with someone to help finish up a job I was asked to do. Naruto answered, finishing him up his food. Okay, well, as three are going out to get some things, Kuremi said. Naruto nodded before getting up and turned to the door. Ahem. Aren't you forgetting something? Said Kuremi. Naruto blushed before turning back to them and leaning down to give them a kiss. With that done, he left the house to meet his help. Financial district. He met up with Akio in an alley across from the bank. Hey. You got the supplies? Naruto asked. Yup. Got it right here. Akio replied, lifting up a duffel bag. I even brought you some extra stuff. Great. Come on, let's go get change. Naruto said, grabbing the bag and headed behind some boxes. A few minutes later, the two came out dressed in wetsuits and masks with assault rifles slung over their shoulders. They made their way to a manhole a few feet away from them and Akio lifted the cover before climbing down into the hole. Naruto followed after him, covering the hole behind him. It stinks down here, said Akio. Yeah, well, what did you expect it smell like? Flowers and chocolate, said Naruto, taking out a flashlight and shined it around. Well, a certain type of chocolate. Akio said, taking a flashlight as well. Okay, your guy said to go this way. Akio said, heading to the left. They walked for a bit, looking around at the same time. Hey, I think I just saw the goldfish I flushed down the toilet as a kid swim by, Akio said. They soon came to a stop. Alright, here we are. Time to get to work, Akio said as he took out a drill and handed a saw to Naruto. He drilled 4 holes above them and Naruto used the saw to cut a square BU connecting the holes. Alright, help me get this out of the way, Naruto said, wiggling the piece of rock out. They placed the slab into the dirty water before turning back to the hole. Okay, I'll boost you up, Naruto said to Akio, placing his hands together. He lifted Akio up and soon felt him leave his hands. Okay, boss. We're in. Give me your hand, Akio said, reaching towards Naruto, who grabbed on and felt himself be pulled up. He looked around and spotted safety deposit boxes all around him. Sigh, okay, empty as much as you can into the bags, he said, heading to the boxes on the left while Akio went to the right. Sometime later, miraculously the two were able to empty all the boxes. Phew, good thing you brought extra large bags, Naruto said to Akio. Yeah, I know, replied Akio. They then went down the hole in the floor and headed deeper into the tunnel. Well, that better than expected, huh, boss? Said Akio. Just as he said that, he heard someone shout. They went down the tunnel. Naruto turned to Akio. You had to fucking jinx it, he said in a deadpan tone of voice before he raised his gun to the source of the voice. Akio followed suit. They both began firing down the tunnel. The gunshots reverberated off the walls of the tunnel. Hey, I don't want die in a fucking sewer, shouted Akio as he fired off a few rounds, which was soon accompanied by the sounds of water splashing as something big hit it. Tell me you had a plan if things went wrong, shouted Naruto. Of course I do. What kind of gunman would I be if I didn't plan ahead? Akio shouted back. Cover me while I set it up. Akio started some small black boxes along the walls while Naruto shot the men that ran at them. Alright, boss, we're good to go, Akio said, running to a boarded section of the tunnel with Naruto following after. They threw themselves against the wooden boards, which immediately broke under their combined weight. Alright, here's plan B, Akio shouted before taking a small object out of his pocket, flicking a switch, and pressing the button. Multiple explosions rang out, followed by the sound of falling debris. Sigh, good old plan B. Works every time, Akio said with a smile. They then walked down, farther down, heading into the red light district. Red light district. The two pulled themselves out of a manhole in an alley and began to change back into their regular clothes. Okay, let's see how much we got, Naruto said, opening the bags. Okay, here's all the cash you got, Naruto said, handing the money that was in Akio's bag to Akio. I'll give the trinkets to my guy and he'll get in touch with you on where to get the rest of your cut, Naruto said. Akio nodded before walking away. Naruto picked up the bags and went to Rindo's location. A few minutes later. Okay, Rindo, I got the stuff, Naruto said, setting the bags down on a table. Ah. Good, good. Rindo wheeling himself over and looked inside the bags. Okay, I can sell these odds and ends pretty quick. They should turn a pretty penny. He said, good, the cash you get from the things from that bag you give to Akio. The money you get from this one you send it over to the village. Sure thing, boss. Naruto reached into his bag and took out the money, pocketing most of it before handing a large stack to Rindo. Here. For services rendered, he said with a smile before walking away. Thanks. Oh, wait. Rindo called out to him. What? About the last place. I found its location at the edge of Financial District, but the only problem is that we have to hit it now or else more mercs will come out, making it impossible to hit. Rindo said, shit. Okay, guess I'm going alone for this. Naruto said before reaching into Akio's bag and taking out one of the 2 guns inside, the trinkets, and zipping up the bag. You got an extra mask and bomb? Asked Naruto before Rindo threw him a ski mask and explosive. Thanks. He said, placing the mask in his back pocket. The bomb inside the bag walked away. Financial District. With the bag slung over his shoulder, Naruto stopped at the entrance of a cash depot. He took out the gun, put on the mask and gloves before kicking the door in. Everybody stay where you are. Nobody be a hero or else you'll end up with your brain splattered over the walls. He shouted, pointing the gun at the people in the building, which only a civilian woman, 2 cashiers, and a guard. He grabbed the girl and pointed the gun at her head before walking up to the glass. Open the fucking door or else her pretty little head gets blown apart. He shouted at the people inside, who reluctantly complied. Naruto ran in with the girl in tow before throwing her on the floor and smacking the guard in the head with the gun. He took the guard's weapon before aiming at the cashiers. All of you get in that fucking closet. Now, he shouted, getting them to quickly run in. He closed the door behind them and wedged a chair underneath the doorknob before heading in and planting the bomb on the vault door. He took cover behind a wall before detonating the charge. The door was blown open immediately, causing Naruto to head in and start to fill his bag with the money he found. With that done, he headed out to the back of the building and ran out the back door down to the streets, where he stopped in an alley and took off his mask before stuffing his gun into the bag. He poked his head out of the alley before determining it was safe and walking away calmly. For the first time in my life, a job actually went smoothly, he thought as he headed back to Rindo. Red Light District. Wow, your skill precedes you. Rindo said as he saw Naruto enter. Yeah, I'm just as surprised as you are. He said, placing the bag on the table again. He took out about of the money and zipped up the rest. Okay, this half is for you. He said, separating the half he took out. And this half is for me. He said, pocketing the money. The rest you send to the village. I know the drill. See ya. Rindo said, waving goodbye to Naruto's departing form. Konoha. As Naruto walked down the street, he suddenly felt something on his shoulder. Looking behind him, he saw the hand of one Satsuki Uchiha. Come with me, she said, pulling him after her. They soon came to a stop in front of the Uchiha compound. Come on, Satsuki said, dragging him into the main building and seated him in a chair before taking a seat next to him. In front of him was Satsuki's mother, Makoto Uchiha. Hello, Naruto-kun, she said with a smile, placing her head on her folded hands. Let's discuss some things, she finished with a smirk. Naruto gulped at the look she gave him and only had one final thought. I'm going to be really sore after this.